What's happening, good fighters? Coming to you live with a whole lot of connection, intention, and purpose. This is the Good Fighters podcast. Coming to you live from Grand Rapids, Michigan is Dr. Gates Mayer. And coming to you live from Ames, Iowa, Dr. Nash Stopko. Dr. Gates, what's poppin'?
Hey, yo, we ready.
We are very ready.
Man, how's your Tuesday going?
Tuesday's been good, man. Got a lot done already. The cool thing is we're both going through phase one right now. So
Yep.
Day 22. Got
Let's
two
go,
workouts
baby.
done. Got my
22
visualization
Tuesday, baby.
done. Got my critical tasks done.
Same, dude. We're both on top of it. We are in the zone.
Yeah,
I just
but
need to get my visualization done. Ooh, rookie move, bro. I do that first thing because I know if I push it off, I probably won't do it. You know, I have my disdain.
I'm doing it.
Huh?
I'm doing it.
You do it later.
Oh no,
I just need.
I'm not gonna. I
know.
You said I probably won't do it. I'm like, oh, I'm doing it.
I mean, I will do it, but in my mind, it's even worse. If you think it's bad in the morning that I don't want to do it before bed, it's way worse.
You sleep so good.
Dude,
those blankets feel so nice and comforting.
They do. You're not wrong. It's just like when it's cold and then you take a cold shower. You know, this is my complaining voice, so I need to shut that down. But I just need to get my 10 minutes of visualization in, gallon of water, no alcohol, you know, things that are pretty, in my opinion, easy to perform. So I'm ready for it.
One funny thing we talk about all the time when we go through 75 hard phases, those nightmares where you end up having that drink or that's.
Bro, I haven't had any though.
Oh, you haven't? Nice.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but 75 hard, I had them constantly, especially in the first 30 days. I have not had one on phase one so far.
I
don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I had one.
Maybe I'm new evolution.
Maybe.
You did have one. You had the scotch, right?
So dumb. The drink me is an idiot. So what are you doing, man?
That's the worst when you wake up and you're like, did I actually do it?
Yeah, right. Does this mean I'm done?
It doesn't mean I'm done. Gotta start back.
Yeah. Cool.
That's hilarious.
Gates, let them know kind of what where our intentions are for today's podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to kind of have an intention of drop-ins, or as many of you in the chiropractic community recognize as thought flashes, especially whenever we are on any live hard, 75 hard type of program. I find personally that I have a lot of drop-ins, thought flashes, things to advance not only my livelihood, but also at the same time those around in becoming a leader, who I want to be, right? An evolution of new self, right? And recently, Dr. Nash and I were both texting, and we were talking about some of the drop-ins that we have had recently. And I really wanted to do this episode for you guys because I think it's really important, in not only in the field of chiropractic, but if you're trying to be a good fighter. These are things that can be what is referred to as, some readings call it, the secret weapon, okay? Because these are things that your innate, okay, and we can go over that in a second, but your innate can kind of solve problems without your conscious self solving the problems. So I hope that made sense to you guys that are listening. But like for me, for instance, there's been a couple times when I've been, you know, having an issue or I need to solve something, and then it kind of just pops into my head. Like I didn't have any formulation, maybe even I was sleeping, and the solution to my issue comes about. So that would be something that I would describe as a drop-in. But more specifically, BJ Palmer, the developer of chiropractic, obviously he talks about innate thought flashes a lot. And in particular, he says when innate thought flashes came, they must be accepted for full face value and acted upon at once. So there's a sense of urgency when these drop-ins happen. Dr. Nash, I don't know if you have any more insight on in kind of defining a drop-in, but more importantly, I want the readers to know that it's not something, it's something that you might have had before and you just kind of push it to the wayside and you don't really do anything with it.
You know, even maybe in a less profound way, but it's when you're like trying to think of something specifically, and it's just on the tip of your tongue. And then you have that instant moment where just like light bulb or lightning strike or whatever, and it's right there, and you know it right off the bat, or off the cuff.
Right.
And having instances like that, not just for like when I'm trying to think of, okay, what was the name of that restaurant that we went to 2 years ago?
Right.
But just any time that when you're kind of deep in thought, or you're in a state where you're not necessarily meditating, like on a walk, and you have these,
Right.
you're letting your mind wander a little bit, and you have something that kind of comes to you. It's just like, dang, I should write that down. Write it down. Definitely
write it down.
Write that.
Absolutely.
Because that's exactly what we're talking about. It provides, it's an open door. Between educated and innate intelligence. We're providing that, really trying to cultivate a better link between the two. And the more that we're able to build that relationship to where we're showing them, or we're an open vessel, or those will keep on coming.
Right. Well, and I want to relate it back to even when we were talking with Dr. Mo, she talked about the brain being an antenna, right?
Right. Exactly.
And within that antenna, if we're receiving a signal, it could be instructions for A, B, or C, but it's something that's very important to our critical livelihood to be able to put down, because we never know if it's going to change the direction of our life. And I want to kind of make a disclaimer is initially off the bat, like I know it sounds kind of weird and kooky, but guys, like this is legit. It's something that I think I have found in my life, and you guys have experienced it. For those of you listening, you have experienced it. You just might not recognize what it is entirely. So I know to some listeners, it might be like, the crap is a drop-in or a thought flash. And yes, thought flash is spelled THOT, as you've heard us reference before. Not to be confused with the modern day lingo. But in reference to what you were talking about, Nash, BJ Palmer talks about in one of his writings, he says, and this is how he describes the development of trusting those innate thought flashes. And he makes it important, like you said, to not lose that connection. It says, silently innate speaks upon your sleepy self. Innate flashes answers so you may have them. Instead of getting up, having a pad and pencil handy alongside your bed, writing while the idea is in full clarity, you roll over on the other side, education, your educated brain, saying, I'll remember that tomorrow, and then I'll think about it. And if it is worthwhile, I'll write it then. I don't know about you. I've done that a lot of times in my life, and I've always regretted it every single time.
It's like trying to remember a dream.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to have as much clarity as you do in that moment. And he goes on to say, right then and there, you made your big mistake. In the morning, education is top man again. Innate is back in its retreat, doing only those things it has to do to keep physical functions in motion. You didn't capture that idea when innate wanted to and was willing to give. So you educationally lost it. The more this indifference occurs this way, the more innate becomes discouraged and eventually ignores you because you ignored innate, until it becomes a fixed habit both ways, each ignoring the other. And I think about, when you think about some of the greats in terms of people that have created things, so even like Ford, Newton, these guys that have basically Einstein set these things in motion. Yeah, they were working on things, but I would probably argue to say more of their ideas came from an innate thought flash or a drop-in than anything else, really. Because it's those ideas that we all know we've woken up in the middle of the night and had that is the answer to our problem. And then the next morning we wake up and like, shoot, what did I think was, the solution to my answer? And then it's never as good when you try to educationally think about it.
Sleep on it. The literal term that people say all the time, just go to bed and
sleep on it.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because there's an indulgence that's going to provide you better clarity when you give it time. Now, the thing is, a lot of people don't have a practice in their day-to-day life to cultivate that connection as much. So that's why when you're sleeping, that connection that antenna is a lot more receptive to receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, whether that be for a problem or something you're working through for school, for work, a video game, right? You sleep on it, and you come back today with not just a whole lot more clarity, but the solution you have more times than not ends up being a lot more profound than when you just really try to grind through and just push out a solution.
Yeah.
Right? It's like taking
we always hear about those gut instincts or what's commonly referred to as, hunches, intuitions, instincts. These are all things that would be considered a drop, guys. So like if you have that gut instinct, follow it. If you wake up in the middle of the night, you feel like you got to write something down, write it down. And an example of that in my most recent stuff for phase 1. And I've been thinking about writing a book for a long time, right? Dr. Nash, like quite a bit of time, and I never could clearly understand how I wanted to put it together.
Yeah.
Like I had components that I wanted to put it together, but there wasn't enough binding glue between the topics to get there. And then one night, it might have been like 10 days or so before we started phase 1, it popped in my head, like perfect clarity, how everything was going to kind of glue together, stick together, and be formulated. And I wrote it all down. I'm so freaking happy I did too, because it's made the process that, if you don't know, for phase 1, you got to do a couple tasks extra than 75 hard. And I've added it to those tasks, writing down this book, because I want to run with this innate idea, this clarity. And I don't know if this is just cockiness, but I think it's going pretty good. That's an instance where I'm so happy that I did write it down, because if I wouldn't have, the drive would not be there, and the mental clarity. So that's one example that, especially most recent times, that I've had a lot of.
Love it. It kind of provides direction a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, and the solutions or the flashes or the whatever you want to call it, they appear differently in different instances, but lots of times they're going to give you a sense of confidence and direction. Clarity. Yeah. You mentioned that clarity on what your path is going to be or what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I think that's something that, regardless of what your occupation is, what your goals are in life, having a practice in place that allows you to have that sense of clarity, or having the opportunity to have something like that for yourself, is essential.
Yeah. Other than sleep, is there anything that you can think of where you've had a drop in that you've kind of cultivated for yourself? Like where you've found you've had a lot more drop-ins in a certain portion of your habits or your life?
Oh, dude, honestly, a lot of mine come when I'm reading.
Yeah.
Reading, all the time, dude. I'm just reading, and then literally intentionally, I'm present time consciousness invested into what I'm reading, and all of a sudden, bam, holy shit, that just came. And now I write that down.
Yeah, it'll connect, and it connects so many dots. I don't know about you, but in those readings, I've formulated a lot of my philosophy background, all that kind of stuff, based on those.
Yeah.
When I just popped in my head, it connects dots.
Yeah. No. I
like that.
The more I have that happen, the more I'm really trying to be intentional that I'm leaving that communication line wide open.
100%. Yeah.
So
I get a lot of mine working out too.
Yeah, I mean, I get some when I'm working out. Mine happen more often, honestly, when I do stuff outside, more specifically, or if I'm doing some grounding work, I usually seem to have a lot more ability to have some drop-ins that way too.
Agreed. And the extra antenna.
Yes, no, for sure. Instead of being maybe not an extra antenna, but I'm kind of adding tinfoil to the end of my antenna, right? Or
there you go. Extra conduit.
I'm grounding my antenna to boost the receptive field.
Right.
But unfortunately, in the Midwest, you can't really do a whole ton of grounding when it's frozen out there.
Dude, I tried that one time when there was snow on the ground. My freaking feet were ice. I don't know how people do it, to be honest.
People do that?
Dr. Jordan Burns does it all the time out in the snow. I don't know how he does it. I obviously have no idea. And maybe I'm just a big baby when it comes to cold. I don't like cold showers and I don't like snow on my feet, but
challenge accepted.
Challenge accept, dude. He does it when it's rain or snow.
He must not live where I live though, because people don't pick up their dog shit, and that grosses.
That's true. That is a big time fact. When you're at an apartment complex, poop everywhere. You gotta know the zones.
Yeah, there's no clean zones because I don't want to be walking back in my house with doo doo on my foot.
Oh man,
Is there any thought flash, man?
What?
The disruptor of the thought flash, dog poop.
The disruptor,
an insulator.
100%. Yeah, what's the negative version of the tinfoil antenna edition?
Oh,
that subtracts.
An insulator. That's the only thing I can think of.
What would you say is your most personal famous drop-in that you can think of?
My most personal famous drop-in. Would you say like successful, or would you say like just favorite?
Let's go with both. Like your favorite one that's dropped in, but then maybe the one that kind of clicked and propelled a lot of your life, I guess you could say.
Okay. I'd probably say the first round off the bat was the decision to open up after school.
That's your favorite, or like the propel?
I mean, that one really propelled a lot of things for me because it was an uncomfortable decision that there was absolutely zero certainty in anything at all. That whatever floor I had, as far as like success floor, I completely removed. But at the same time, I wanted an unlimited potential opportunity at the same time.
Right.
So that came, I think I was reading Bigness at the time, and it was kind of coming into, I think it was earlier of COVID, or probably before. I think it was February when we really were starting to look at that as an option.
Yeah, it was right before we graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys were talking with the people that were there.
Yes. And since then, it's provided nothing but more and more opportunities to keep growing because I'm uncomfortable all the time. Like literally, and not like in a negative way, but like to grow, you got to be uncomfortable because from a place of comfort, nobody's going to change or or push themselves. I mean, you can, but it requires so much more development when you're uncomfortable. So
I mean, imagine that you didn't pay attention to that and acted on that, and then you went to an associateship and it was just complete crap.
Right. And hard to say what would have happened with some of the relationships I've made, what we're doing here. I mean, all these things in my life that bring me fulfillment. I cannot imagine I would even be close to feeling as fulfilled as I am now. And the finances, I mean, that's never been it is something that I need to have more respect for, and I'm learning to do that in this environment. And, without making that decision, I think ultimately my relationship with it would have been detrimental to my future family. So that's really kind of the one that and it's hard to put it after or put it before even the decision to go to chiropractic school, which in a way is a little bit of a thought flash, but I would say more recently, one of my favorite ones. I've really made that's tough because there's a couple that I really want to lean into. Give me the opportunity, Gates, to give 1.5. How about that?
1.5. Okay.
Because what I like to do as well, like my drop-ins aren't always like, I don't know if this is the same way for you, but they're not always like, ambiguous isn't the right term, but they're not always like super linear. Okay. And what I mean by that is lots of times they come across as like almost like a epigram. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So one I had, this was written down, I think, last week. Through certainty, anything is possible, even things others would say is impossible.
Yeah.
And,
I would 100% agree with things like that as an epigram. Read that again, though.
Okay. Through certainty, anything is possible, even things others would say is impossible. Okay. So when
I feel like sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, you're good.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of your drop-ins.
Absolutely.
You get a certainty, and then anything is possible.
What anything others would even say is impossible, right? So
They didn't get the thought flash.
well, and your reality and your whatever your antenna is set to receive is going to be limited by your mindset.
Yeah.
So when other people's impossible, it is impossible to them because their mindset's impossible. I don't want that. I don't want a limited mindset. I want an unlimited mindset. What does that look like? And how can I cultivate that not just in my chiropractic practice? How can I cultivate that in my relationship? How can I have unlimited love in my family relationship? How can I have unlimited finances in my financial relationship? How can I have unlimited spiritual connection in my spiritual connections? And just really reprogramming how I think about what's possible and what's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one other one, this one's not, this one has a little bit more direction than the other one, but a clear connection to the neuroimmune system is essential for cultivating a more organically resilient human race. And that was more so I just wanted to, like, as I'm connecting like things in my own mind, these drop-ins come in just like, how can I take this last page, 10 pages, and get it in one sentence?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, those were the couple that I had written down recently that honestly, I like those ones a lot.
No, I think I love that you brought that up, because that's something that we didn't explicitly say, but a lot of times my drop-ins do appear just as you described in an epigram form that formulates exactly clearly what I'm trying to get across to the public from what we've learned, right? Because like what we've learned, we kind of have to digest that and spit that back out to another digestible form for people that haven't maybe read or studied what we've read or studied. And that's going to make that much clearer for you to explain that. So when you guys have sentences that drop in like that might even clarify things that you're trying to get across, or even if it's an analogy, you have to write those down. You have a notes app for a reason on your iPhone.
Right.
That's honestly primarily what I use. And then I also have my notebook that I transfer those ones into my notebook too. So I have them on paper as well. I love that I mean, when you act on it, man, I think there's just a different level of commitment and certainty, like you said.
Oh yeah. Dude, I mean, you got to have the mind in general. It retains exponentially more with creation versus consumption. So you're consuming these ideas, you're consuming these flashes. It's going to retain, and it's going to help you grow, not even just grow, but it's going to manifest even more things for you when you create. And just by writing something down, you're already transferring the intangible to tangible.
Yeah.
And that's already telling things in the universe that you're receptive and you're a creator, right? You're not just a product or a consumer, you're creating. And this universe rewards creators. Because energy can't be transferred, or it can't be created, or it can be created or destroyed, right? It can only be transferred. Okay. So if you're just I don't want this to come across as mean or crude, but if you're just a hollow vessel, just consuming and not putting anything out, then what's that say to the universe? That why would it keep feeding energy into something where it's not getting transferred? So that's really,
don't mistake that for not having the capability, though.
Either. No, not at all. Because it's never
you're
late.
Right. You're right.
It's never too late, but you want to make sure that you're giving as much glory to that opportunity as you can. So that was kind of what I had from what you just asked. I don't even remember what you asked, so I apologize.
Favorite, and then like technically it was what you the most famous drop-in.
Ah, got it. Okay.
So I like both of those.
What about you? Let me hear yours.
I gotta say, and I think it's maybe more because it's just top of mind, is the book.
For sure.
Because
I won't take it personally.
I think it's got to be, or I mean, in reference to this podcast, I think that was a pretty big thought flash. I don't even remember how that happened, though, to be honest.
It's a pretty good one.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, how did we start the podcast? I don't remember how.
It was a conversation we started in school. I know that.
Yeah, but I don't remember the day that it was like, all right, let's do this. You know?
I don't
know if you do.
It was 2021, and you had just like started your practice.
Right.
Well, you should go back and watch episode 1.
That's true. It might have some speaking of episode 1, guys, we're coming up on a year almost.
Yes, we are.
Of the Good Fighters podcast, which is crazy. But I will have to go back to episode 1 because I honestly don't remember how it came about. Other than us just talking about it.
The origin, huh?
The OG. The intro, not the entree.
A lot of it came from literally all the voice messages we were just relaying back and forth for so long.
That's true. We were doing a lot.
But a lot of, and I know a lot of the conversations were like talking. We were just saying how we need to make sure that, even just for, like we said, if nobody listens, we don't care. More so for us, it's going to be cool just to have it documented, our conversations.
Actually, I think we were just sharing drop-ins a lot of times on those voice messages.
Exactly.
That's literally what we were doing. We were just sharing drop-ins the whole entire time, most of the time, and just feeding off of each other.
Yes.
And it produced this baby. That's incredible.
Yeah.
What a heck of a drop-in live.
Circle.
On the Good Fighters podcast. You guys, they're probably listening being like, I don't know what the heck just happened. But
yeah, everybody's over here just like zombified by what we're even saying.
It's a magical moment, guys.
That's who it's for. If you get it, we're talking to you.
Yep.
If you don't get it, we're still talking to you.
We're still talking to you.
We're waiting on you. That's all.
Listen in. So I wanted to do a little drop-in exercise here, Dr. Nash, that I thought would be kind of fun, interesting, different, and something that the readers can, or not the readers, well, somewhat, I guess, the listeners can take back and kind of think about their own things, how they would respond to these questions, okay? So I'm going to give you a word or a phrase, and I need you to basically respond with one word, okay? What's the first thing that pops in your head? One word. And you can't say the same thing twice, okay?
Got it.
So I'm going to give you 10 of them, okay? The first one is life.
Force.
Death.
Beginning.
Nice. Legacy.
Family.
Complete connection, chiropractic.
Love.
Ooh. That was off the top. I like that. That was good. You had that right. Top it. Challenges. And Nate had it, yeah. Challenges.
Opportunity.
Time.
Finite.
Success.
Inevitable.
Gates Mayor.
Brother.
Me too. I love you.
Love you too, bro.
Good Fighters podcast.
Lightning.
Ooh, that's spicy, bro. Oh, lightning. Dang, I like that. Okay, last one. Service.
Honor.
Man, I gotta say, those were solid words.
Thanks, man. Those are a good list. Really good list.
Thanks, dude.
I said enlightening, but lightning would also be sweet.
Oh, in life.
Lightning would also be sweet, though. I want to change my answer to lightning.
Dude, I that was very unique, but I loved it. Enlightening. But from enlightening comes lightning. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And the thing is with lightning, your strikes the same place. Watch out! Sorry, that might be loud for all the listeners' ears, but
you gotta muffle that on the audio.
I'll probably snip that a little bit. Got out of my got a little carried away there. All right, bro. So I got my own 10 words for you, actually, because
dude, I should have had you gone second. I'm not confident or clear in the answers I'm going to give. I should have had you go second. Yours were too good.
The thing is, bro, it's not you giving the answers.
Fair enough.
Remember what we're talking about today?
Yeah.
You're
Drop
not
it in,
trying to
innate,
answer
baby. But let it rain,
off the
thought flash,
cuff.
baby.
Yeah, bro, off the cuff. All right, man. 10 words.
Okay, 10.
And there might be some similarities in here. I don't know, but the first thing comes to mind: kind,
Peace.
process.
Determination.
I'm writing these down, by the way.
Ooh.
Legacy.
Completion.
Phase.
Production.
Light.
Freeing.
Freeing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like freeing.
Yep.
Freeing the soul.
Pressure.
I want to say production again, but that's not going to work. This is one that I'm going to give kind of like it's not just a one word, but lack of passivity. That makes sense.
Change.
Communication.
Form.
Beauty.
Depth.
Journey.
Compound.
Influence.
Sweet. That was my 10.
Nice. It's honestly hard. It's hard to not to say the same words you said. I had to think about it.
I mean, we do link up innately, so I mean, if
that's true.
If Nate's flowing, bro. Let it flow, man. Don't dam up that river.
Right. No dams here.
Yeah. Kind of. I thought it was pretty cool. We both had legacy on there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not by accident, though.
No. And obviously that's something that both of us hold very highly. And I think this is something that is not only a great exercise to do to replenish that, but also any drop-ins that you have, know that it helps to better produce what legacy you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And I think we both get a lot of that in something that we constantly try to cultivate. And that's why not only did we have it on both of our lists, but also at the same time, I know that both of us outside of here constantly get drop-ins to become a catalyst for our legacies.
Hell yeah, bro. For sure. I definitely feel that. Not even just for our own legacies, but legacy of the dream of the planet. Like we talked about on the 4 agreements a little bit, it's bigger than just our own stuff that we have going on, which you got to take care of you first. And once that's taken care of, you help others take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And together we can change a dream, right? Right now we're living a little more on the nightmare side, but the cool thing about a nightmare is it makes you really crave the beauty of a good dream.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have a rainy day you can't appreciate the sunny days without the rainy ones.
Yep.
And it's always darkest before dawn. You feel the most pressure right before you break through. Whatever analogy hits home for you. I believe as a whole, we're experiencing one of the darker moments collectively, and maybe that's how we have our perspective set. Maybe I'm off on that. Maybe this is just personal. But even if it's just personal, if you're going through some dark stuff, or you're feeling like a ton of weight on your shoulders, that's it's always hardest right before it's something substantial is going to happen.
No storm lasts forever.
Right. Absolutely.
There's always an end. That I want to cap it off on just what you said there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fantastic, and just a reminder to everybody out there that whatever state you're in, it's never too late to get a drop-in, to get out of it. Eat into it, keep rolling. This is the Good Fighters podcast. Any last minute words, Dr. Nash?
Find people around you that love you for who you are, but it's got to start with you first. Learn. And if it's something you already do, beautiful. Find those people that celebrate you for you, and help that exponentially compound tenfold. So that can just be, you can be a magnetic. You have a magnetic persona about you that people gravitate towards you, and not because they want anything from you, but because you're giving so much that it makes them want to be better. That's it.
100%. Pay the fee, y'all.
Pay the fee. Where can they find us?
At @the_good_fight_ers. At DC_Nash_T. And you know me at @GatesMayor_DC. Pay the fee. Don't forget to spread love, service with connection, intention, and purpose. As always, love y'all.
Yeah, and sorry. I did forget to let some people know I am on a social media fast currently. If anybody's reaching out to me on socials, I ain't reading them. I'll probably hop back on a little bit here in April just to kind of check back in, but it's been pretty dope. It's
been awesome.
Yeah.
Highly suggest.
Yes, for sure. If you ever want to get more hours and time back in your day, that's a really easy way that you can do that, and also kind of influence your mental diet. Now, I know there's
foreshadowing to our future episode.
Yes. So leave it at that. Good fighters, you know what to do. Get those rounds in.